Okay, we're back, and we got a couple people in the chat room. Uh, Nice to see that some people decided to hang out with me instead of going to see Captain America Civil War, which, to be completely honest, is where I'd like to be right now. It's one of the drawbacks to doing this thing on Thursday nights. I miss all the midnight shows, at least until the summer. But this is the only night that really works for my schedule, so we will make do, and I will be in line for Civil War tomorrow. But until then, we've got some TV to talk about. Because instead of going to see what critics are calling the best Marvel movie yet, I decided to stay home and watch Legends of Tomorrow. Oh god, I've made a horrible decision. Okay. Alright, let's go. Legends of Tomorrow, which ended just over an hour ago. Season 1, Episode 14, River of Time. Instead of killing Vandal Savage, like they fucking should have done, the team just lock him up in the ship. Jax tries to fix the time drive, but he gets a face full of flux capacitor energy or something. So he's dying, and Stein sends him through the time stream because that will apparently fix him, instead of waiting 2 minutes, actually less than 2 minutes, for the Wave Rider to get fixed. Ray Palmer opens Savage's cell because he's an idiot. Savage and Carter get free. Carter remembers his past lives. They manage to stop Savage and bring him to the Time Masters, but it turns out the Time Masters and Savage are like this. Wow. I think I hate this show. I really, really do. I could be in line for Civil War right now. Instead, I'm talking about Legends of Tomorrow. So let's get this over with before I start really hating myself. Here is a list of stupid things that happened in this episode. They put Savage in a fucking cell instead of just fucking killing him and finally ending this nonsense. But they can't kill him, you see, because if they do, then Carter's mind will be lost forever. Except for the fact that he can fucking reincarnate so he would be perfectly fine in his next life. Thank you, Heatwave, for being the only character smart enough to point that out. The time drive is broken. So Rip puts Jax in charge of fixing it. Because being an auto mechanic from 2016, Jax is naturally qualified to fix radically advanced time travel technology from hundreds of years in the future. And here's a shocking plot twist that no one expected. Something goes wrong. Yeah, I just blew your mind, didn't I? So now Jax is aging at an accelerated rate, but Stein figures out that somehow a trip through the time stream will magically heal Jax. Wow, that's convenient. So Stein puts Jax on the jump ship, and he sends him back to 2016, I guess. And Jax says that separating them will kill Stein, but being the other half of Firestorm, wouldn't it kill Jax too? I thought that was how it worked, but they don't address that. The really ironic thing about this is that in literally the next scene, the Wave Rider is magically fixed. So they have their time travel capabilities back. So Stein sending Jax back to his own time was completely fucking pointless. There's a whole lot of time wasted on the Ray, Kendra, Carter love triangle that... Oh, God. Spare me from this. Kendra is dead set on freeing Carter from Savage's mind control. I don't know why. when this is all over, Carter's going back to his own time, and you're going back to 2016, so you'll never see this guy again. And this ends with Ray getting so worked up about this, about Kendra falling back in love with Carter, that he lets Savage goad him into opening the fucking cell and fighting him like a dumbass, which moments later allows Savage to escape. For God's sake, Ray, you're supposed to be a genius. Why are you incapable of acting like one? Oh my God. Anyway, because Rip put Jax in charge of fixing the time drive, which apparently was very dangerous. Funny how he didn't mention that to Jax before Jax tried to fix it. The team is questioning if Rip cares more about himself than them, wondering if he would sell them out to save his family. Even though just a couple episodes prior, Rip offered himself up to Pilgrim just to save their loved ones. I thought Rip's loyalty to the team had been, pretty well proven in that episode, but now it's suddenly in question. He even admits that he would sell them out. So I don't think it's stupidity on the team's part as much as it is writing discontinuity. Anyway, Savage frees Carter because they didn't have anyone guarding Carter because they're all very stupid. A fight ensues. Savage almost kills Carter, but then Carter remembers everything immediately and he saves her. And I guess the love triangle with Ray is just done now, even though the Carter from Kendra's time is dead, and this Carter will be going back to his own time when this is over, I'm assuming. But Ray realizes that him and Kendra won't work out. Boo fucking who. They did such a lousy job of making us care or invest in that relationship. I honestly don't give a shit that it didn't work out. I don't care. Then at the very end, we get the one good twist of the whole episode. The Time Masters were in league with Savage the whole time. Okay, that's a cool swerve. I'll give him that. And it actually explains a couple things in hindsight. Sadly, it was too little too late. I'm so far past caring at this point. If the rest of this season had more twists like that, and less stuff like the team crippling the Pentagon during the Cold War, or setting off various nukes at various points in the past, and showing complete disregard for making horrific changes to the timeline due to their own blundering incompetence, I might feel differently about this, but I don't. This show sucks. And now I only have 2 episodes left until I don't have to talk about it anymore. And that day cannot come soon enough. Dave Gorman has already seen Civil War. Okay, well, no spoilers, please. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I would have seen it tonight, but I have to do this. Yeah. See, I gave up on Legends of Tomorrow. That show is one big clusterfuck. I envy you. Yeah, I would have given up on it weeks ago, but apparently I made some kind of unspoken commitment to finish the season, like I did with Gotham. Otherwise, I would have quit Gotham long before the season ended. Cannot wait for Civil War. This team is a bunch of fucking idiots. Oh, hell yeah. Truer words have never been spoken. I don't hate the show. I find it hilarious. I can see it being enjoyed in that way. In a so bad it's funny kind of way. For me, it's just so bad it's bad. I missed LoT because I just got back from Civil War about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, rub it in. He's right, though. I think I hate it, too. And time drive is broken. Send the mechanic to repair the spaceship engine. Brilliant, Rip. Why not send the 2 bank robbers instead? That's true. I have a question. Who was supposed to fix the time ship if Rip was just flying it by himself? I assume that under normal circumstances, he would have a crew, but he didn't. So what was he going to do if the time ship broke? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, how are you feeling? Pretty well. Pretty well. The night sweats aren't totally gone yet. Still having those, um, a couple times a week, which is really irritating. Also, the rash is still a problem, but I got some stuff for that. Went to see a dermatologist, and she gave me some stuff, and it still itches a lot, but the rash is fading, so that's good. Just hope it stays that way. I'm pretty sure I've got some rash on my scalp, though, so I may have to shave my head again to get at that. Let's not talk Civil War. I don't want to spoil anything for others. Yeah. Let's make that a rule. Because let's try to keep things non-spoilery for anyone who hasn't seen Civil War. People like me who have not seen Civil War. They had to get rid of Jax to keep Firestorm down, or he'd solve every problem. That's true. That's true. I'm not sure about the way they did it. Okay, a trip through the time stream will magically fix him. Okay, I can buy that much. But did Stein forget that they're living on a fucking time machine? I mean, they keep saying that the Wave Rider will be fixed soon. Could he not wait? Could Jax not wait? I mean, he's aging, but he's not dead yet. I mean, he's still well enough to like walk around and stuff. Could he not wait 2 minutes? I guess the answer is yeah. I guess the answer is that no, he couldn't. And I know they had to neutralize Firestorm somehow, but just wow. Ray opening that cell was the stupidest thing I've seen in literally years. I mean it. Basically, was Savage telegraphing it for hours, then Ray bites with no questions asked. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. Could Ray seriously not see what Savage was doing? He was just goading him into opening the damn cell. Oh, shit. Why not get some plutonium? I don't know. All right. How many Carters are there? Is there a variety of Kendras too? I don't know, and neither do the writers. Well, this was a future reincarnated version of Carter. And I guess there wouldn't be any future reincarnated versions of Kendra because the present-day Kendra hasn't died yet. But they're clearly just making up the rules of this shit as they go along, so who really knows? I saw the Time Lord's heel turn coming at the beginning of the episode. The second they said they'd go back and talk to them. I knew they had to do something to draw out the rest of the season. So I knew there was some twist coming. Didn't know it would be that. That caught me off guard, but yeah. Hope we talk about Civil War when we get to the Potpourri? Not sure what that is. Section of the show. Yeah, we could talk about Civil War, sure, but no spoilers. Civil War better than Batman v Superman. Yeah, that's what people are saying. There's that emotion. Nothing else makes sense. Otherwise, the series would just end here and now. Han Solo dies. The way time travel works on this show seems to be almost completely random. It's good, it's bad, it works this way, now that, and then you go Mach 2, I guess. The fact that Rip was outright told them that he's willing to sell them out to save his family to their faces should tell you something about the writing. Oh, yeah, but then he jumped in front of a laser blast to save Kendra, and he injured his shoulder. So I guess all is forgiven now, right? Yeah. Special shout out to Ray Palmer being dumber than a typical wrestling fan, letting Savage goad him into a fight like a typical wrestling babyface. Also, Rip still taking Savage to the Time Masters instead of telling Kendra to gut him with the mace after Not Carter wakes up and turns face, and they have Savage dead to rights for the 130th time. Yes. Well, 230th time, actually. It's closer to it. Yeah, why not just kill him then? I mean, you have the evidence that says that proves that he was mucking around with a time stream. So why not just kill him then? Seriously, why not? Because they're stupid. And then your typical wrestling babyface. Okay. Because they're stupid. That's the catch-all explanation for everything that goes wrong on this show. Okay. Moving on to The Flash. Season 2, Episode 2, Rupture. Zoom decides to take over Central City, and now that Barry is powerless, Team Flash have no way of stopping him. But rather than try to get Barry's powers back, they decide that they're going to stop Zoom without the Flash. It doesn't go well. Remember last week when I said that the only time we were going to see Barry really use his brain and make smart decisions was when he didn't have his powers? Well, leave it to this show to wait only 1 week to throw that back in my face. This whole episode is built on the dilemma of Zoom running around announcing that he's going to take over the city with no one to oppose him, and Barry being unable to decide if he should risk trying to get his powers back so he could actually do something about this horrible threat to the city that he himself was responsible for in the first place. The failure in all of this is that they never have a compelling argument for Barry not trying to get his powers back. They try to come up with one, but it feels so incredibly flimsy. I just have to wonder why they devoted an entire episode to this. I understand that Barry's dad is worrying about his son's safety. I understand Barry worrying about an accident creating more metahumans, but what the hell is the alternative? Do nothing and let Zoom rule the city with an iron fist? Let Zoom have the rule of the roost with no Flash to oppose him? Yeah, that worked out great. And considering that Zoom only became a threat to this world in the first place because Barry was a selfish, irresponsible idiot, I would think that there would be no choice about this at all. Zoom is Barry's responsibility, like it or not. He's got to do whatever it takes to save Caitlin and save the rest of the city from this lunatic. So when Barry decides to not risk getting his powers back to try to stop Zoom without his powers, I really wanted to just turn the TV off at that point. It baffles me that these characters, and our main protagonist in particular, continue to make the worst decisions possible at every single turn. I don't expect them to be perfect, but for God's sake, exercise a little common sense and learn something along the way while you're at it. I don't think that's unreasonable. Hell, even Zoom was guilty of that this week. After he let Caitlin roam around free in his lair last week, giving her the perfect opportunity to escape, he handcuffs her to a desk within arm's reach of a cell phone. He didn't even bother to take 1 second to search the surrounding area to make sure that there was nothing within arm's reach of Caitlin that she could use to escape or tell someone where she is. Are you kidding me? Anyway, Barry wants to try to stop Zoom without his powers. So they try to set up they try to set a trap for him, okay? Zoom's henchman Rupture shows up instead. Now they managed to stop Rupture from using this Flash hologram thing that they were using to fight crime in the first act. This hologram, which they very clearly stated like 20 minutes earlier, does not work indoors. But now it magically does for some reason. Never explained. By the way, what exactly was projecting that hologram? I assumed they were projecting it from a Star Labs satellite of some kind. which would make sense if it doesn't work indoors, but if it does, then I got nothing. But they stop Rupture at least. Then Zoom appears, and they do absolutely nothing. Question. What was their plan here? They were trying to lure Zoom out of hiding and into a trap. So I assumed that they had some sort of idea or some kind of plan to take him down. But the second he shows up, they can't do a goddamn thing. So what were they planning to do? What good were the police going to do? He's already proven that ordinary people are like insects to him. It seriously came off like they had no fucking plan in place at all for when Zoom showed up. So, why try to draw him out? What did they think was going to happen here? Nothing happened. Because they had no plan. Was their plan to fight Zoom with the hologram? Did they really think that was going to work? Because that's a really bad plan. The end result of all this being that Zoom got annoyed and snapped the neck of every police officer in the room. Except Joe, because he has main character shields, I guess. Yeah, so they had absolutely no plan. So why try to draw him out? I mean, wow, I feel bad for all the widows and orphans that those dead cops left behind, but at least Barry didn't get his powers back. So, yay? So this is still a win for the good guys, right? Because Barry doesn't have his powers back, so... I just have to laugh at this. Barry decided that getting his powers back was too risky, even after Harry showed him this huge list of metahumans that were going to come out of the woodwork if the Flash wasn't around to protect the city. You know, he still thought it was a better idea to try to stop Zoom without the only thing they had to fight Zoom with, and his plan is no plan at all. Wow. Oh, God. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when that story got pitched in the writer's room. I really would. Anyway, so all it takes is about 20 police officers getting murdered for Barry to realize that he might have made a bad call here. So he finally decides that he needs to get his speed back, probably. So they rig up the particle accelerator. But right now, I'm having a lot of trouble thinking about anything but those dead cops, who all died tragically because Barry wanted to act like a fuckwit again. So Iris chooses now to tell Barry that she's finally realized that she wants to be with him. And you know what? I don't fucking care. I couldn't give less of a shit. I never wanted to see these two together in the first place, and after what just happened, Barry doesn't deserve to be happy anyway. Okay, so then the particle accelerator incinerates Barry or absorbs him into the Speed Force or something. And at this point, good. Honestly, they're all better off without him. All those cops would still be alive if it weren't for Barry. So really, you know what? Let the fucker die. If he's one with the Speed Force now, just let him stay there. I know Oliver has his hands full right now, but is there any way we can outsource this Zoom problem to Team Arrow? Because at least those guys are fucking competent. Not like Barry Allen, who at this point is giving the characters on Legends of Tomorrow a run for their money in the biggest fucking dumbass on Earth department. Ugh. What else happened here? What else happened? Oh, Rupture is Evil Earth 2 Cisco's Evil Earth 2 brother. I actually really liked that twist. I thought that was pretty cool. And just like with Killer Frost, there were a lot of possibilities with this. Cisco having the strained relationship with his brother, suddenly confronted by his brother's evil doppelganger who wants them both dead. There are some really interesting stories you could tell there. So, of course, as soon as they introduce Rupture, they kill him off. Why? Damn it. You know what? At least Killer Frost got a few episodes before she died. I don't understand why they keep doing this. Killer Frost and Rupture had the potential to be really fun recurring villains with a lot of possibilities for interesting stories because of their relation to Caitlin and Cisco. And it would have given Caitlin and Cisco some cool things to do. And in both cases, the writers just threw that away. It just seems like such a waste because there was so much to be gained by keeping them alive. So much more to be gained. And did Zoom really need to be put over more at this point? I mean, he just said he's taken over the damn city. He's evil. We got it. Him killing Rupture was really not necessary at all. Boy. This episode really frustrated me. I'm so tired of Barry's bullshit. All I want is for him to get a fucking clue and act like a reasonable thinking human being. But that never seems to happen. The writers are just dead set on Barry always doing the stupid thing to advance the story, and my patience for that shit is gone. It's reached the point where they're teasing that Barry might be dead, and I just don't care. A big part of me is rooting for him to stay dead, even though I know that won't happen. And if that's the place that this show has taken me to, these writers have done something very wrong. I called it last week. I thought the particle accelerator would give us Kid Flash and Jesse Quick. It'll be cool to see all three of them team up to take down Zoom. I suppose that would be cool if we see it. And we might. Of course, it took Barry a little while to learn how to control his powers. How many episodes are left in the season? I think 2. Might be asking a little too much of Wally and Jesse, but, who knows. They might be, who knows, I mean, Barry was in a coma for almost a year after getting blasted by the accelerator. I mean, Wally and Jesse might be asleep for a while. Does anyone on The Flash have any common sense at all? Maybe Harry. No, he was the one who kept saying that Barry needed to get his powers back. Yeah. Gave away his powers like an ass. Mm-hmm. Alright, here we go. Let's see. I mean, these ass clowns tried to fight the most powerful metahuman without the use of Barry's powers. Everyone's reasoning for not having Barry get his powers was so stupid. Absolutely. You are 100% correct. If you could trade one Flash character to Arrow for another character, what swap would you make? Good question. I might have said Laurel for Caitlin. Laurel's dead now. Maybe Felicity for Caitlin, right? Just at the moment. I think personality-wise, Felicity would fit in with the more lighthearted tone of the show. It's fairly obvious that this will give Impulse and Jesse their powers. Well, yeah, I think that's clearly where they're going. I think the last 2 episodes of the writers buying time until episode 22. Oh, they're definitely stalling. Yeah. There was absolutely no reason why we had to go through this entire episode of just pointless deliberation. Oh, should I get my powers back? Should I not? Dude, obviously you need to get your fucking powers back. How the hell do you plan to stop Zoom without them? Well, he had no plan. That was the problem. Zoom was trolling everyone hard this week. Imagine him showing up on other shows. Zoom speeds in on Arrow. Ollie, Felicity broke up with you. Poor baby. Speeds out on LoT. Speeds in after Savage. Escapes. Vandal escaped again. You guys suck. Let's see. Did Henry give away the Man in the Mask's identity? Garrick was my mother's maiden name, so Real J will end up being Barry's uncle or grandfather, maybe? Maybe. Who knows? Remember when I said that Youngblood only sacrificed their powers to save mankind from a race of alien parasites? Well, there was also an incident where one of Youngblood sacrificed his life to save a cop, basically taking a demonic possession for him. Not only was saving the cop more important to him, it was more important than his life. One cop. Yeah, one. But oh no, Youngblood had pouches and killed people they're inferior to burial. Also, keep in mind, the guy who sacrificed himself to save a cop was a reformed anarchist criminal, so talk about a face turn. The deaths of Deathstorm, Rupture, Frost, and Reverb were completely unnecessary. I mean, really, what was the point of even having them in it then? I absolutely hate that Iris is a love interest again. I was liking her a lot as the big sister. Well, fuck that. Thanks, Flash. Yeah. I'll agree with everything you said. Especially the Iris thing. They did some decent character surgery with her, and a lot of that involved not making her the love interest again. Now they're just going back to that. Why? She was so much more likable this season. Let's see, where was I? Oh, and the tarted hologram. Yeah, what the hell were they planning to do with that at the end? And you just said it didn't work indoors. Now it does. Wait. I'll bet you that Barry is now one with the Speed Force, just like in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I will take your word for that, because I haven't seen Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'm going to guess that the Man in the Iron Mask is the real Jay Garrick of Earth 2, and Zoom could possibly be Hunter Zolomon from a different Earth altogether. Yeah, it could be the real Jay Garrick. I'm guessing it's another version of Teddy Sears that is somehow going to be the real... Yeah. Going to be the real Jay Garrick. Because apparently the real Flash, like a version of the Flash, did exist on Earth 2. I mean, he pretended to be the Flash. When he faced, I think it was... that one metahuman, I think it was like a sand guy. And the sand guy thought he was the Flash. He acknowledged him as the Flash. So apparently there is a version of Jay Garrick on Earth 2 that looks exactly like Hunter Zolomon. I don't know where they're going with that. Alright, I lost my place again. Hang on. I'll be fine with the show putting Barry and Iris together for a test run. They had great chemistry in the scene. Iris has become a much better character than she was last season. Okay, respectfully disagree about the great chemistry thing. You're entitled to your opinion. The hologram nonsense was so absurd, it begs the question if these people know what a hologram is. Not only wouldn't it work indoors, it shouldn't work outdoors either. Holograms require mirrors, projectors. You can't beam it down from a satellite. The fact that they allowed them to throw a bunch of... All right, well, I was willing to cite comic book science on the hologram thing until they said that it didn't work indoors, only for it to later work indoors with no explanation. That's where I started hitting my head. And the fact that they allowed them to throw a bunch of cops to Zoom like sacrificial lambs is maddening to me. Hey guys, let's step back into the 90s again. Oh, wait, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going out of order here. I'm beginning to wonder if the CW-DC Universe's writers and heroes are actually dumber than Roman Reigns now. Not the heroes on the Arrow on Team Arrow. They're normally pretty smart most of the time. Team Flash and LoT, yeah, they're not exempt from that. Did Henry give away? No, I did that. All right, Duke Nukem is just trolling me now. I am not even going to acknowledge that, Duke Nukem. Let me guess. Barry did the opposite. He sacrificed his powers to doom mankind in the mercy of a speed demon parasite. That is exactly what Barry did. Let's see. I'm gonna guess that the man in the iron mask is the real Jake Garrick of Earth 2, and Zoom could possibly be Hunter's. Oh, I did that one. Sorry. And now Team Flash just sacrificed about 20 cops to a speed demon because they were too scared for Barry's life. It's funny because it sounds like you're being it sounds like you're being sarcastic with that comment, but that it really is exactly what happened. Oh god, this fucking show. Impulse is Bart Allen. Oh yeah. Doesn't mean he can't be Kid Flash though. They could change things around because I don't know if they can call him Kid Flash because while he's not really a kid, he's college age. He's probably around 20. Yeah, they could change it, I guess. I mean, they did that on Young Justice. Had Bart start out as Impulse and then become Kid Flash. I mean, I don't know. They could just call an audible and make Wally Impulse, I guess. Impulse is more likely, yeah. The guy in the mask is definitely Earth 2 Flash's dad. Okay, but why put him in a mask? I think because they put him in a mask, it's got to be somebody surprising. I don't know. Earth 2 Flash's dad? You mean another version of Henry Allen? Or Jay Garrick's dad? I don't know. Yeah, he's not going to be Kid Flash. Barry's a couple years older than him at best, so Barry being Flash and Wally being Kid Flash would make sense. Henry Allen, apparently he's that version of Jay Garrick. Okay. All right, so maybe on Earth 2, Henry's dad died and he took it, or his parents named him Jay and he took his mother's maiden name. All right, yeah, maybe. Okay, I could see that, I guess. I have a question. What happened to Geomancer and Major Disaster? They can control nature itself. Wouldn't that be useful to Zoom or even Team Flash? Maybe they don't exist on Earth 2? Major Disaster. I don't know. I don't think Major Disaster is on this show. Which one is Major Disaster again? I don't know. Okay. That'll be it for the Flash. Moving on. Arrow. Episode 420. Season 4, episode 20. Genesis. Oliver goes away for the weekend to learn some magical mojo that can hopefully help him repel Damien Dark's magic, because all it takes is a weekend. Meanwhile, Dig hunts down Andy with tragic results. and Thea takes a trip with her boyfriend and winds up under the dome. Literally. The best thing about this episode by a mile was the Dig storyline. Now, he can't just sit around waiting, so he does some detective work. He finds Andy, or he thinks he found Andy, and everything that follows was great. At first, they have a shootout. Andy lures Dig into a trap and tortures him, and then Dig turns the tables and escapes, and almost kills Andy, but then doesn't. And then runs back to his family. But then, oh shit, it's all a ruse, and Andy put a tracker on him. But then, oh shit, they don't want Dig, they want Lila. And then Dig and the baby have to escape without Lila, for reasons that actually do make sense. BT dubs, Lila is fucking awesome. And then Dig and Andy have another confrontation, but this time Dig makes a different decision. Boom. And you'd think the threat of Andy is done, but then Dark still got what he wanted in the end, and essentially now he has the nuclear codes. It's just, this whole thing was fabulous. Just so many twists and turns. I thought I knew where they were going with this a couple different times, and I was wrong every single time. And some great acting here too. The final scene with Dig and Andy was fucking dynamite. You know, both actors killed it here. Andy comes off as really sinister, even though he took that mind control pill thing that lets Damien influence him. So his free will is probably long gone. He still seems so irredeemable and seems to take such relish in being evil that you can't really sympathize with him at all, even though this is probably not his fault. And Dig is fighting against so many emotions here. He doesn't want to hurt his brother, but at the same time, he hates him for what happened to Laurel, and he's so desperate to protect his family, who Andy is making all these terrible threats against. And finally, Dig just snaps. It's emotional, and it's powerful, and it's tragic. And this was the payoff for a subplot that's been building since season 1, which made it that much more impactful, and I thought they nailed it. And then the final gut punch is that Dig can't even tell Lila how he killed Andy. He has to lie about it because, even though you can really understand why he did it, he still feels ashamed. Plus, he doesn't want Lila thinking that this is more like the guy that she divorced and stuff. And it's some pretty heart-wrenching stuff. And it's probably going to mean bad things for Dig and Lila later on, but some great material for these actors, and after this episode, I say sign me up for that. And something that made it even better is that even though Dig really screwed up here, it doesn't really feel like he made a mistake because everything seems so organic. I mean, you understand why he did what he did in every step of the way, and it's really hard to blame him for any of it because I think most of us in Dig's shoes would have done the same thing he did. This whole storyline was just terrific stuff. By comparison, the Oliver story felt kind of simplistic, actually. He finds this Fortuna woman to teach him how to repel Dark's magic. It's actually a lot easier than you'd think. The trick is just to think happy thoughts. Hopeful thoughts, whatever, same thing. So basically, Oliver has to beat Damien Dark's magic powers by being Peter Pan. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see where they go with this. I mean, yeah, it seems ridiculously simple once Fortuna explained the whole thing, but this whole light versus dark plot is pretty thematic of what Oliver's journey as a character has been, especially this season, so maybe they can make this work. I'll give it a shot. Felicity didn't have a subplot this week. She was just in support mode with Oliver. But she wasn't giving him crap for something that wasn't his fault, or playing up the wishy-washy breakup stuff that was been so poorly handled. No, she was back to being likable Felicity this week. That doesn't undo the damage that's been done to her character, but it's a start. So that was good. I don't know what to make of the Thea stuff right now. Just because it seems so random and so bizarre. Her boyfriend being under the sway of Ruve Adams now was not surprising. I think we all saw that coming. But him literally trapping Thea under the dome... I'm going to give that a thumbs up just because it was so off the wall and so inexplicable that I had no idea what to make of it. But at the same time, I wanted to know more about it. And the ending reveal, that's quite a cliffhanger. It makes the season story arc feel so much bigger. Now that it's not about saving the city, it's about saving the whole world. I do wonder that the seemingly easy defense to Dark's magic is going to rob the climax of some tension. But if he's got some nukes in the air by then, that might not matter so much. So Oliver finding a defense to Dark's magic so easily felt a little bit silly. But all the other stuff here was so strong that it's hard not to give this episode a big thumbs up. That's mainly because of the Dig story, but yeah, I thought the Dig stuff was really that good. Something else that helped a lot, no flashbacks. I didn't miss them. Not at all. Those things have just become a big distraction. But they were omitted this week, and the episode was better for it, in my opinion. So, yeah, overall, I thought this was a really damn good episode of Arrow. Okay. Here you go. Major Disaster is the more powerful brother of the Weather Wizard. Oh, the other Martin brother. Oh, Christ, there's another one? Jesus. I heard they're moving Supergirl to the CW. This is the first I've heard about that. I haven't heard anything about that. I would say probably not, but who knows? Let's see. I thought they were going to have Felicity be the one that could use the powers there for a moment. Glad that didn't happen. Yeah, it was kind of funny her beating Fortuna at poker. Let's see. John had a right to shoot Andy. The character has had it coming since he showed up. Nothing to feel bad or lie about. It's still his brother. I could see him feeling ashamed about it. Plus, I mean, they set that up. Lila said, look, you're starting to act like the guy I divorced, so I could see him not wanting to tell her about what he did. That made sense to me. Thea is kept in the dome because Merlin still wants to keep his daughter safe from the nuke attacks. Damien owes Merlin, so he's keeping Thea safe from Merlin. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. I thought this episode was fine, but I felt like there was too much going on in 3 different plot lines. No, I thought they all balanced out pretty well. I think if they tried to include the flashbacks on top of that, that would have felt like too much. Probably why they didn't have the flashbacks. RVD episode. Am I missing something? Glad Diggle finally killed Andy. Not seeing a lot of support for Andy here. Andy's death was inevitable. There was literally no saving him. Well, not that they could see at the time. Like I said, I don't blame Dig for doing what he did. I understand him feeling bad about it afterwards, but really, what choices did he have? They locked him up and he got out. He's part of this organization that keeps on getting the better of them, and now he's threatening. He's making threats against Lila and Dig's daughter. He's saying, yeah, somehow, some way, someday, we're going to get these people. It's like, well, Jesus Christ, what choice did Dig have here? Like I said, I think most of us in his shoes would have done the same thing. That's what made it so good. The Flash could learn a thing or two from Arrow's writers. Completely agree. I hate to say this episode was great. I have to say this episode was great. It was really surprising and well-paced, and the whole chase was brilliant. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's weird that the Oliver storyline turned out to be the weakest part of it. But yeah, the Dig stuff was really that damn good. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually did that with Felicity. At this point, I'm actually glad that Oliver still did it, and Laurel was just as much, if not more important to his motivation. Yeah, I like that they added that. It's good that Laurel is not. Laurel is dead now, but she is still very much a part of the show. Like her memory is, and her death continues to be a motivating factor pushing forward. That's good. An interesting side point in the Bible, it says that God destroyed the world with water once, but next time he'll scour it with fire, hence Genesis. Oh, I didn't know that. I hope they bring that up on the show. That's a good, that's a fun, making Genesis sound biblical. I like that. Genesis, A Night of New Beginnings. Oh shit, Dark must be working for Hogan. Great. Too much going on. That's not even a valid complaint. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Just kidding. Let's see. I had no idea what Rubicon was. I figured it was a virus or something or a chemical weapon. I've got no idea what the gas chamber thing was about then. I have no idea what they can do against Dark. If they can't find his idol again, they're screwed. Well, no, because Oliver can defend against his magic now. No, he's effectively indestructible unless you get his idol away from him. Remember when he got blown up and he walked off? It's true. Presume Alex was always a Hive agent. I don't think so. I think they turned him once he started working for Uwe Adams. I mean, I figured there was going to be a heel turn with him eventually. But no, I think until he started working for Uwe, he was probably on the up and up. I would have shot Andy back when we found out he was mind controlled by a cult. At this point, he is gone. Time to bury him. Remember, these guys are willing to kill themselves for Hive. They have no other loyalties and no self-awareness left. Well, I think for a while they had hope that they could maybe find a way to break the mind control. Now that hope is probably gone. Okay. Agreed on Felicity being supportive and not shitty with Oliver this week. It's nice that she's doing that now, but it does feel like too little too late at this point. I think they definitely do need to do some repair work on her character. I wouldn't say it's too late, but yeah, they've got some work to do to kind of redeem her for that whole breaking up with Oliver over a bunch of bullshit that wasn't his fault. Yeah, they've got to fix some stuff. But the dick stuff was good. Not sure what that's talking about. Also, I'm a bit lazy on what the Thea Alex pills scene actually means. Is Alex working with Hive? And did he drug Thea, or were those pills for him? He was being brainwashed. It wasn't totally clear. I think the pills that Ruve gave Alex were probably the mind control pills. And that's how they got him working for them. I think Thea was just roofied. Because she still seems like herself. And if he could roofie her, he probably could have slipped her one of the mind control pills. I'm not sure why he didn't do that. Maybe because of Merlin? Because Merlin didn't want her mind controlled. Maybe that's how it works. RVD 420. That's what all these pot jokes are about. No, sorry, I'm stupid. I didn't get that. As far as John killing Andy goes, that whole storyline was heart-wrenching. I really hope Andy could be turned face and saved, but that went away after 11:59. Oh yeah, that was all like really tragic and really well done. Thought they really nailed that story. Thoughts on Roman Reigns fans? All right, well, Let's try to keep things off topic for the end, okay? But hey, if you like Roman Reigns, okay, fine. Um, I'm not going to shit on somebody for liking a guy who gets booed out of the building. If that's what does it for you, okay, good for you. Athena versus Asuka will be on next week. Oh shit, I'm gonna have to find a way to see that. I'll absolutely watch that match. Okay, that match will be sick. Hope they give it some time. Let's see. After 11:59, he became too valuable as John's personal villain. After that, after 11:59, they probably could have kept him around longer to have him be the Joker to Diggs' Batman. But at the same time, he may have crossed the point of no return there, and John may have just had to put him down. So I don't know if they could have redeemed Andy after that, because finding a cure for the mind control pills doesn't seem to be an option. All right, thoughts on the new Power Rangers suits? Okay. Well, let's try to keep all the off-topic stuff until the end. All right, because that's how I like to do this, so I don't get sidetracked. Thoughts on the new Power Ranger suits? I like them. They look a little bit Guyver-esque. If you know what the Guyver is, that's a manga, anime reference. But yeah, I think they look cool. I don't really have a whole lot to say. They look like armor and not like rubberized suits or anything. They look like space armor, and I'm glad they're not like bulky or anything. They look good, kind of like the original Ranger suits from the old show, just updated. I think they look good. I'm hot and cold on Rita Repulsa's look, but at least they didn't give her two giant cones where her boobs should be. I think they look all right, honestly. Apparently, they've been getting shit on a lot. I don't understand. I don't see where the criticism comes from. Let's see. Actually, they did bring up the biblical connections with Genesis when they basically figured out what the whole plan was. Okay, maybe I missed that. Did you see what happened to Enzo at Payback? Yeah, I saw it. Glad he's feeling better. Enjoyed the part where God destroyed the earth with water, and now we're talking about fire. Bob Backlund returned to SmackDown and as a manager for Darren Young. All right. I don't see that helping him one way or another. Good for Darren Young getting some TV time, I guess. The Observer adds that at least one person was told when everything is the sale and pursuit of a new investor is all said and done, Dixie Carter and John Gaburek will still be in control. All right, well, you know what? I'm not speculating on that until there's something to speculate about. Right now, it's just rumors. So, my take on that. I must have missed a bit near the end when I was co-watching it with another program. In your opinion, what is the most emotional you got for a TV show or movie? Most emotional I got for a TV show or movie? Oh boy, I don't really cry that much at movies or TV shows. Not really. Once in a while. There have been a couple of times when I've cried, or I've gotten misty-eyed, or just flat out cried. There's only been a couple of times. One was the Breaking Bad season 2 finale when Walt finds Jesse and Jesse's like OD'd, and this is after his girlfriend is died, where Walt could have saved her, but he chose not to. Walt let the girlfriend die, and Jesse is blaming himself. He's like, I killed her, I killed her. Yeah, I loved her, but anything, and I killed her. I cried at that because that acting was just off the. That acting was ridiculously good. Just, whew, wow. I don't know if he won an Emmy for that, but he should have, because holy shit. I guess the season 1 finale of Shield, where Fitzsimmons are in the pod at the bottom of the ocean, and Fitz is about to hit. He's giving her the oxygen, and he's about to hit the button, and he's like, well, she thinks Fitz is gonna die, and he's like, she's trying to get him to stop. Yeah, I got teary eyed at that part. There might have been another one or two things, but those are two things that I cried at. Have I ever cried at a movie? Most emotional I got in a movie? I don't think so. Whoa, holy shit. I get what you're saying about maybe keeping Andy around longer to keep antagonizing John. I probably would have liked that too. Redeeming him definitely was out of the question. Yeah. See, Oliver equals Jedi, Dark equals Sith. And when I think about John lying to Lila about what just happened, I really hope the man I divorced comment doesn't mean that Lila's going to pull a Felicity and dump Dig over bullshit. I don't think she will. I think they'll work it out. One thing we've learned about Lila is that she's, easily the most mature female character on this show, and probably in the entire Arrowverse. No, Lila's cool. I think they'll work things out and stay together. I don't think she would dump Dig over something like that. Don't even joke about that. Lila is the only female on the show who acts like a normal person. Yeah. At this point, yeah, you're probably right. Do the writers have an issue with Felicity for making her act this way, unlike previous seasons? I don't think it's an issue with Felicity. I think they just wanted to stop the wedding, and they couldn't think of a way to do it, so they came up with a really flimsy way that turned out to feel like bullshit. Yeah. My best guess is they think they have to have tension in Oliver's relationships or else. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. I mean, I know you have to have drama. I mean, you can't really have happy relationships all the time. There has to be drama, or else it's just boring TV. I really disagree with how they chose to create this drama, though. I mean, what they're doing to Felicity is what they did to Laurel, basically. Might be some similarities. Blaming Oliver for stuff that wasn't his fault. Yes and no. Alrighty. Okay. Moving on. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 3, Episode 19. Failed Experiments. Isn't it kind of a weird coincidence that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow both have bad guys this season named Hive and storylines that involve mind control? That's funny to me. Anyway, Hive is trying to recreate the alien experiments that made him. Turns out that's pretty hard without a certain key ingredient, so he tries to find himself some Kree, and it doesn't go very well. Meanwhile, Lincoln is not having a good time. All he wants to do is help Daisy, and he's finding that more and more complicated for various reasons. And as the cliffhanger would suggest, he's probably on a bit of a time crunch with that now. This episode has two parallel storylines that kind of mirror each other, each with someone trying to accomplish some goal and hitting dead ends, so they start resorting to more extreme measures as the stakes get higher. With Lincoln, he wants to get Daisy back, and and it's kind of making him a little nuts as everything he tries gets him nowhere, and his options become more and more limited. He wants to help. He wants to help. He's desperate to help, but more and more he's being told that he can't. And if there's a weakness with the episode, it's that I think they might have gone a little bit overboard with that at times. I see where they're going. They're trying to push Lincoln and push him until he breaks and does something really crazy to save this girl that he cares about. Cutting him off from every avenue he has to actually do something. But there were one or two times where it felt like they were trying a little bit too hard. Specifically with May. That scene with her and Lincoln, I was totally on Lincoln's side here because May was being even more standoffish than usual. Lincoln comes up to her, any news on Daisy? What can I do to help? Can I do something? Let me help. And May is like, go away, stop bugging me, you're not doing shit. You're not going to do shit. So just stop bothering me and go. I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, May, don't be a bitch. You both want the same thing. The poor guy wants to help, so just let him fucking help. And why does she have such a problem with Lincoln all of a sudden? Apparently because he threatened to torture the Ginger Ninja in the previous episode. Okay, well, one, that wasn't the Ginger Ninja, that was one of her clones, so she wasn't in any real danger. Two, she's being controlled by Hive now, so kid gloves need to be off anyway. And three, the Ginger Ninja had just tried to kill you, May, and nearly succeeded, might I add. Was the way Lincoln reacted really so extreme? You don't exactly have a ton of options right now, Hive's power base is getting bigger all the time, and you still have no way of stopping him. I know this is in character for May, and she's never been the most emotionally accessible person, but damn, have a fucking heart, woman. Christ. That was cold even for May. Okay, yes, Lincoln has a blind spot when it comes to Daisy, but he's not the only person who does, and, May seems a lot more reasonable when she's explaining this to Coulson. Coulson is determined to get Daisy back safe and alive at any cost, but, well, I shouldn't say at any cost, but at the same time, he has no problem making Lincoln wear a murder vest. So, clearly he's letting his feelings cloud his judgment here. So when Coulson realizes that he's not really seeing clearly, he just confines Lincoln to the base. Probably the right call under the circumstances because you don't want Lincoln getting infected by Hive, but you already had him in the field in your efforts to get Daisy back just prior to this, and now you're taking this away from him too. Then Fitzsimmons come up with this Hail Mary vaccine thing that might protect against the hive parasites, but also might just destroy your insides. Lincoln is willing to be a guinea pig. Once again, he is told, no, you can't do this. So every way that Lincoln can possibly help is being denied to him. Some of these things are reasonable, but some of them felt like the writers were trying so hard to get Lincoln to this place that they want him to get to that it just felt like too much. Seriously, May, lighten the fuck up and let the poor bastard do something. But going overboard with this or not, it gets him there. It's effective. Lincoln finally loses it. He goes against orders and tests the vaccine on himself. And again, I'm really on Lincoln's side here. If nothing else, all this stuff made me sympathize with him a lot because he's been getting, not victimized because that's not the right word, but he's been the recipient of a lot of shit lately. And some of it has been kind of unfair. Is it any wonder that he finally snapped? Seriously. So they get their guinea pig, and it turns out, ultimately, that the vaccine does not work after all. And all it cost Lincoln was his immune system. He can live without that, right? So, yeah, Lincoln's not having a good day. Poor bastard. On the bad guys' side, they're not having much success either. I appreciated their effort to plug some plot holes before they became plot holes. At first, I was wondering, well, how the hell are they going to recreate the Inhuman experiments without Kree DNA? And then they explain it. They tried it with Hive's DNA, it didn't work, so they need some Kree. Okay, makes sense, thank you. So Hive does the ET phone home thing and gets some Kree to show up. And I love how that immediately blows up in his face, where some Kree warriors land and they just start killing everybody they can find. I really hope that was a clone who got her head I really hope that was a clone who got her head caved in. And the Ginger Ninja is still alive because she's too cool to kill off. Can she just be like hiding in a basement, safe from harm somewhere? Yeah, let's keep her alive. So Hive sends Daisy to get him some Kree juice, and she does. But this is where Max shows up, and this is another great scene where he's trying to reach her, but Hive's influence is too strong once again. And she does try to kill him, like she said she would last week, but not immediately. She does try to talk to Mac first. She does sort of listen to him, even if he can't get through to her. So I guess the upshot is that Daisy can resist Hive's influence a little bit, but there's still a part of her in there that's still her. So there's still a part of her in there that's still her, but ultimately she's going to do what Hive says. And Chloe Bennett's been really good with these scenes. You can tell there's a conflict going on inside Daisy, and the good side is constantly losing, but it keeps fighting just hard enough to make it look like she might still be reachable. It's a subtle piece of acting, and she pulls it off really well. Like in that last scene, where she offers up her own blood, because she's got the Kree juice in her from when she was injected with it in season 1. Her eyes, when she does this, her eyes look simultaneously fanatical and horrified. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but her performance in this has been really good and complicated. So inside she's fighting it, but on the outside, she's still Hive's willing servant. At least, well, maybe like 99% Hive's willing servant. And the writing helps by making her reasoning so ambiguous. Her Hive-infected mind is trying to rationalize what's going on to herself. And her reasoning about S.H.I.E.L.D. turning them into something that they're not and blah, 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 is not really that far off from the truth. Yes, it's a half-truth that she's twisting to make her point, but there are elements of it that she's not really wrong about. So her feeling subtly conflicted, even if that conflict is going on inside her, feels very real. Excuse me. But Max still tries to reach her. It doesn't work. The vaccine doesn't work. I think that might come back later, though. And now the good guys' options are even slimmer. There's only 3 episodes left this season, and they still have nothing to go on. No leads, no way to take Hive down. They know where he is, but have no way of stopping him. Short of, nuking the whole town. And who knows if even that would work at this point. The guy just shrugged off a shot from an RPG, for crying out loud, so, blowing up the town might just, kill all the slave Inhumans and leave Hive still kicking and really pissed off. So I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I suppose the other weakness of this episode, if I have to pick one out, is that I'm still waiting for Hive to really cut loose and give us a huge demonstration of this awesome, terrifying power that everyone says he has. Still haven't really gotten that yet. Him eating the flesh off the Kree was cool, but I want to see more. I want to see something really huge and really massive and stuff. So the final verdict on this one, I liked it. It's maybe not as strong as some of the other recent episodes. It did seem like they were trying a little too hard to cut off all of Lincoln's options until he did something desperate. They could have let him do something, really. But fucking hell, May really cranked the bitch meter up to 11 when she was shutting him down. That felt just really unfair. So, I totally get why Lincoln did what he did, but the process of getting him there didn't feel totally organic at times. Also, still waiting for that big demonstration of Hive's power, although we did get to see his origin, which is pretty cool. It almost felt a little bit Hellraiser-esque, actually, where this guy, suddenly gets taken by these creepy blue monsters who strap him down and stick all these freaky things inside him, and he's bleeding and he's screaming in agony and all that shit. That was kind of unsettling. And the rest of the stuff worked fine. I sympathize with Lincoln a lot right now, and um, I imagine that was the intention because that's probably the intention because I still think he's probably the one who's going to die. The stakes are getting higher. Daisy and Mac had that really great scene, and Daisy's life is probably on the line now once they suck out all her blood. And I still have no idea how they're going to stop Hive. So there were a couple issues with this episode, but still a lot of good stuff in here regardless. Let's see. Oh, and next week, Hellfire gets the chain thing that he uses in the comics. Yeah. That's cool. See, I mean, what they're doing to Felicity is what they did basically to Laurel. It's literally almost the same character arc, but replace drugs with spinal damage. Okay. Unless something changes in the next episode, the only outcome for Daisy in all of this is that she gets removed from S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think so. I think if they can free her from Hive's control, I think she'll be fine. They might have to kill Hive in order to do that, which is where they might go with this. But no, I don't think they'll be removing her from S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, she's basically the main character of the show. That it might happen temporarily. If it's temporary, I can see that. But let's see. I mean, they're running on CW teenage angst level bullshit, and again, it all goes back to the whole cheating, womanizing past thing. Well, only because he had a kid. Anyway, time to believe in the S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay. Daisy and the others essentially feel addicted to Hive and the happiness he gives them, but they are still making their own decisions to keep it. I don't think so. I think the way they explained it is that the parasites get into your brain and they release like massive levels of dopamine, so much so that you become hopelessly addicted to it. So you feel like you have no choice but to do what Hive wants. I think that's how it works. But I think they aren't free to make their own decisions. They might be free to interpret Hive's orders, like make their own interpretations of it, which I think is how Daisy managed to show up on those security cameras. But ultimately, if Hive tells them to do something, I think they have to do it. At least they feel like they have to do it. Who's the Roman Reigns of the show? Guy who's supposed to be a good guy, but everybody hates. Well, in the context of a show, I guess it would be Lincoln, because everybody's giving him. He's trying to do what he thinks is right, and everybody's giving him shit for it. Daisy has shown that under the right circumstances, deep down, she is willing to do whatever she has to do to get what she wants, and she can't stay a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in light of these developments. Okay, but she is being mind controlled right now. Let's not forget about that. Hive making a Kree hunter his bitch. Yeah. I like that. May said that Hive was nursing a 1,000-year-old grudge. So I kind of like that Hive could have just eaten all the flesh off the Kree at any time, but he wanted to fight this guy just to beat him in a pissing contest that he's wanted to have for centuries. It's kind of funny. All right, sorry, wait. She can't stay a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in light of these developments, let alone being given her own team now. Plus, opening up Season 4 with fallout from whoever dies, Daisy as a vigilante hero and Coulson pissed off about all of it would be a great way to start the season. I could see Daisy leaving the team of her own free will, and having that be a bit of a cliffhanger. I don't see them removing her from the team. It's like I said, Coulson does have a big blind spot when it comes to Daisy. I could see her leaving out of guilt. As I said before, I think Lincoln is going to be the one who dies. I think he's going to do something desperate to save her, and it'll work, but it'll cost him his life. And Daisy, I think, will be so guilt-ridden about that maybe she'll leave the team until next season. Maybe she will. I could see that happening. I don't think they'd remove her from the team, though. The Kree soldiers were pussies. I was expecting far more from that, but oh well. Well, I think that the Kree actually was winning that fight with Hive until Hive just did his thing and dissolved him. I mean, the other Hive did kill a couple people, including the Ginger Ninja there. But Daisy, let us not forget, is extremely powerful. The Kree might be great fighters, but Kree ain't gonna beat Daisy. If she cuts loose. I mean, she temporarily crippled the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. base, so she's got an awful lot of power. If she cuts loose, Kree's not going to be able to beat that. You're right on the money about what Hive's sway does, which is another way they've successfully made him more honestly scary than the typical execution of this sort of villain. Okay, so we got somebody agreeing with the Save Me one. Okay. I think you are right that it's kind of an addiction. That's sort of how it was described. I think it's more like it's kind of like an extreme addiction where they're physically incapable of resisting it. Because I don't think they're capable of making their own decisions. I don't think so. Because I think if they were in any way, I don't think Daisy would have tried to kill Mac. And she certainly wouldn't have threatened to snap Fitz's neck. These are her good friends. Now, she wouldn't have done that. So I think it's not as much as an addiction as it is a hopeless addiction. Because once it's in you, you need it like breathing, There's an interview on the WWE website about Nikki Storm that you should check out. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. It's really good. Okay, I'll see that. May doesn't need guns. Guns strap themselves to May for protection. Yeah, well, I kind of like that. She says, if I need a gun, I'll take it. And then fast forward to the end of the episode, yeah, she needs a gun. Yeah, she's pumping Hive. She grabs a gun. She's pumping Hive full of bullets, and it does nothing. And she has to shoot Daisy also. So May needed a gun this week, and I kind of liked her getting that getting her ego smacked down a little bit. When I need a gun, I'll use one. Yeah, you needed a fucking gun, May. So stow your ego and remember who your enemy is here. May is a bitch. That's basically her character, an efficient badass, rational sometimes to a fault, but bitch. Normally, I wouldn't say bitch. I would say emotionally damaged person, or something along those lines. But in that scene with Lincoln, yeah, she was being a bitch. Because she was really just being way too fucking harsh. Even for May. And that's saying something. Did they kill Multiple Girl, or was that a clone? I'm hoping it was a clone. We really don't know. Did your lip quiver at the scene where the team says goodbye to Bobby and Hunter? I felt sad. I felt depressed. Um, I didn't. I didn't really tear up, but then again, I was very sick at the time, so I wasn't completely focusing on the episode, or it's not the right word. I was, but part of my mental energy was focusing on not throwing up, or because I was, queasy and stuff, because of being sick, not because of the episode. Um, Efficient. May's a bitch. That's basically her character. An efficient, badass, rational, sometimes to a fault, but bitch, which makes her both irritating and awesome at the same time. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think. I wonder if there's a part of her that will just never recover from the Bahrain incident. Um, because looking at May now and looking at her in season one, I think her development has been a lot more subtle than everyone else's. You can see how she's developed. She's kind of like taken on Daisy. It's kind of like I guess, a surrogate daughter. I mean, there's definitely some motherly instincts there, and she's definitely warmed up to Coulson and maybe some of the others a little bit, but she's still very emotionally damaged. And I think the Andrew as Lash situation didn't help with that. That probably just set her back a lot. So I do wonder if there's a part of her that will just never recover and will always be this emotional, not cripple, but semi-cripple. It kills me that they killed off multiple girl. There's so much they could have done with her. It's a real shame. Plus, she went out like a punk too. She may not have been killed off. We don't know that for sure. It could have been just a clone, because they pulled that stunt last week. Remember, they thought they were fighting her and a clone. It turns out they were both clones, and she was still alive. So she could very well still be alive. If it turns out that she is dead, then I will agree with you, because she's a really cool character. There's no reason to kill her off. But for right now, we do not have confirmation. I was under the impression that was a clone. Yeah, could very well be a clone. Their plan to take down Hive is increasingly weak sauce. I mean, they apparently just don't want to nuke the town even though they know where he is. Well, like I said, they don't even know if a nuke would work. They just saw the guy shrug off a hailstorm of bullets and an RPG, and the guy didn't even blink. So they don't know if a nuke would work. I don't even think they have a nuke. Plus, you'd probably need presidential clearance and stuff or something like that. It's dropping a nuke on American soil, even if it's a small nuke. That's the kind of thing that would get attention. Draw probably too much attention for this covert agency. They probably got enough explosives in their arsenal to level the place. But again, they don't know if that would stop him. I don't know if you read Ryback's post. If so, what are your thoughts on what he said about equal pay in WWE? I didn't see it. I heard about it. I said something about all the superstars should be paid equally. If that's what he said, I think that's ridiculous. So you're saying that I don't know who's an undercarder. You're saying that somebody like Adam Rose should be paid the same as John Cena? Like all the superstars should be paid equal? No, that's ludicrous. Guys higher up on the card, i.e., guys who draw more money, are inevitably going to get paid more because they make the company more money. If this is Ryback complaining about his pay grade, you know what? Do some fucking work and get yourself more over. It's probably hard because they don't give the guy very much. But, if you got a weak hand, you got to play it. Make do with what you have. I get it would be bad, but it'd be worse to have Hyde break loose and expose everyone to his powers, drop a nuke on the town, and let it go. Well, there are probably complications and red tape with that. I don't know if they. We don't know if they even have a nuke, like I said, and they don't know if that would even kill him. Plus, as they explain in this episode, Coulson does have a blind spot when it comes to Daisy, and he is determined to get her back alive. So I imagine, just dropping a bunch of explosives on the town and leveling it could be an option, but it's not something that Coulson is considering right now because of that. She was absolutely right when she was talking to Mac, though. He was getting too emotionally wrapped up in trying to save her. Oh, I agree. Him trying to talk her down was kind of nuts. So I guess Mac, for the first time, has been emotionally compromised. Damn it! The only level-headed character they had left. Well, nobody's perfect, and like I said, there's just enough conflict being played in Chloe Bennett's performance that she looks like she's reachable, even if she might not be. Yeah, she's going along with Hive's plan, but she doesn't look. She looks like there's a part of her inside that is not happy about it, that is desperate to break free of this, but it just seems impossible for her to do so. So I can understand Mac wanting to try to reach her, even though that was probably a dumb decision. As far as nuking the town, they didn't want to kill Daisy and the other Inhumans, just Hive. Yeah, I mean, there are innocent people involved here. Daisy is innocent. James is innocent. The Ginger Ninja is innocent. And I guess, dropping a nuke, whether they actually have a nuke or not, I'm guessing they don't, that doesn't become an option until every other option has been exhausted. And I don't think we're quite there yet. The first was a clone, the second was her. You don't know that for sure, goddammit. I refuse to believe the Ginger Ninja is dead until we get confirmation that was her. It could very well have been a clone. It could have been two clones, and that's what I'm going with, damn it. I know they don't want to kill the other Inhumans, but too bad. This is an extinction-level threat, one which will get increasingly worse. Well, I think... Like I said, there are innocent people involved. And, again, Coulson does have a big blind spot when it comes to Daisy. That they might arrive at that decision at some point, but it's going to take a lot to push them to that place, and they're not quite there yet. WWE changed the name of the Global Cruiserweight Series to the Cruiserweight Classic. All right. They have an opportunity to end this with virtually no human fatalities besides terrorists of Hydra. No innocence lost, just mind-controlled slaves and terrorists of an evil cosmic god. Okay, well, the mind-controlled slaves are innocent. Let us not forget that. As opposed to an alternative failed cure after failed cure. Hive breaks free and Earth ends up like planet dumpster fire back there, a nuclear desert. All right. Well, okay, they found out where Hive was in this episode. Okay? Their first response was to send in a TAC team loaded with guns and try to take Hive out. They tried it. It failed. So let's see what their next option is. Okay, before you say that, okay, just drop a nuke on them and go home. Let's see what their next option is, because there are still innocent people involved here. At least two. James and Daisy, Ginger Ninja, hopefully. So at least two, possibly three. If there's any possibility they can get those people back, they're going to take that before they just, level the place. Chloe Bennett has been amazing with this angle. Her performance not only helps her own character, but also helps get across what I've been talking about with Hives as well. Hellfire would make great friends with Bram if they don't try to kill each other first. Oh yeah, those guys would totally be bros. Disagree with TGA about the Kree being pussies. Daisy and Hive were the perfect ones to beat them. Hive is the big bad with the terrifying power. It wouldn't make sense for him to lose. Daisy, we've seen how powerful she is. Plus, as she mentioned, she's got both Terrigenesis and Kree blood in her. Yeah, Daisy's pretty high up on the power scale. Inhumans are pretty strong, but again, they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to withstand force like that. Let's see. Anyway, this episode was great. As usual, S.H.I.E.L.D. comes through as the only consistent comic show on TV again. All right. WWE officials have had talks about doing a women's tournament on the network after the Cruiserweight series. The idea would be to mix current talent with non-roster talent. Okay. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, the scene with May and Hellfire was great. That 100% awesome line killed me. Yeah, that was fun. Though for future reference, May, if somebody rolls a bomb towards you, it usually helps to get out of the way. I would have preferred her not just stand there. I know this is May we're talking about, but geez, where the hell are her self-preservation instincts? I mean, she didn't know that thing would not just, blow her face off. Isn't Hellfire a way for Marvel to sneak in Ghost Rider? Not really. Completely different characters except for the flaming chain thing. Austin Roberts, give me a shout. All right, shout out to Austin Roberts. The big quote-unquote problem with S.H.I.E.L.D., it's consistently good, and just saying, oh yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. was great is kind of boring, lol. Not a lot to discuss. Imagine that problem. You've made a show so consistently well-written that no one has anything to talk about. Well, we got stuff to talk about. Unleash Hive on the bromance. Oh, I would pay to see that. That's like someone being so successful they fail at failing. I was expecting them to basically... Oh, hold on. I was expecting them to basically take the combined forces of Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Inhumans, and Hive to kill, like, almost a surprise season finale twist villain. Talking about the Kree. Well, they didn't spend all season long building Hive up as the big bad to just have him get his balls cut off when the Kree show up with, 3 episodes left before the finale. No, if they were going to have Kree be the surprise villain, they would have built that up a lot more. Basically, the Kree were a means to an end here. They just needed them to show up to get the DNA. So, I understand Hive survived gunfire and explosives, but let's be honest, he's never been vaporized completely. Not yet. Well, yeah, not yet. I suspect he'll be on that ship in the flash forward when it blows up. That would presumably kill him. Yeah, not been vaporized yet. Okay, that's true. That's true. They don't know if vaporizing him would kill him, and they haven't seen anything that does hurt him yet. Ironically, Damien Dark has been vaporized and walked it off, so right now Dark has shown a higher degree of durability than an alien god. Well, Dark has magic. Remember, Ryback also mentioned creative issues as well. Who the hell wouldn't have creative issues in that company at this point? Hashtag Ginger Ninja lives. Yeah. I'm going to try to get that trending, actually. Let's see. TGA, so what happens? Does that mean the show ends forever? Forever? Whoa, shit. Forever? No, but this season, yes. It happened, I believe, twice before with the Kree in the comics. Did it? Huh. What title was that? As far as Civil War goes, DC, I hope you were taking notes for Justice League. Yeah, I've heard nothing but stellar reviews for Civil War. People saying it's the best Marvel movie so far. Wow. Until now, I think best Marvel movie so far was Winter Soldier. Uh, if they've topped Winter Soldier, holy shit. I am super fucking excited for that movie tomorrow. If May were the one to be killed off, I could see that being the thing to drive a wedge between Coulson and Daisy if he blamed her and him knocking her off the team. If I don't think it would happen. I don't think he'd kick her off the team if it happened while Daisy was mind controlled, because he knows that what she's doing right now is not her fault. If Daisy was acting under her own free will and made a really stupid decision, and that led to May getting killed, then I could see it happening. But no, as long as it's happened while Daisy is under Hive's influence, no, I don't think he'd kick her off the team. That said, I do think May is going to die at some point. Probably not this season, but I think it'll happen. I think it will happen at some point. Hive versus the Decay, who wins? No, Hive would get so freaked out by Rosemary that he would just turn tail and run. Yeah, he does. Hive doesn't want none of Rosemary. TGA, the way you make it sound like the nuke idea sounds like it would be a show ender for me. Yeah. That'd be an awesome twist, though, for the Kree to be endgame. It would be a twist. It might even be an awesome twist if it happened earlier in the season. If they did it at the 11th hour, like now, it would just feel like some last-minute Deus Ex Machina or something done for shock value, because they didn't have time to properly set the whole thing up. That's how I feel about it. Also, from the comment about the show being good every time makes it sound like it should be a bad episode. Bad episode. No. I wouldn't say it's a bad episode. I mean, I would say there were elements of this one that were not as strong as some of the ones we've gotten lately. I think there were a couple of issues with it. I wouldn't qualify this as a bad episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think a bad episode of by this show's standards, a bad episode would be 084, which was the second episode of the first season, which a lot of people shit on. I didn't think it was like awful or anything. I don't think it was particularly good, but by the standards of this show, that would be a bad episode. Do you hear that Eric Young appeared on NXT? Yeah, I heard about that and haven't seen it. Had a pretty decent match with Samoa Joe. Who should be in the women's tourney? I don't know if they're bringing in outside talent for it. You mean? Oh boy. Well, I think they could get some Joshi wrestlers from Japan. That would be good. I think Madison Eagles would be cool. Nicole Matthews. They could go. I was going to say Ivelisse Velez, but now she's under contract with Lucha. Shauna would be great. Santana Garrett. Who the hell else? Maybe get Sue Young. I heard she was kind of aiming at NXT, trying to get her foot in the door there. There's a lot of women they could use. The nuke thing. No, that'd just be the logical, real-world answer to the problem. The one we know TV writers would never allow. Food for thought. Thoughts on Sienna? Really liked her. Um, I personally, I think I've always felt that Allison Kay was. I always felt that her best asset were her mic skills. I thought her mic skills eclipsed her wrestling ability, but I thought she did a great job here. She looked like a force. She was booked well. She looked really strong. Um, it looks like this is gonna be a feud now with her and Jade, and I'm totally cool with that because Jade needed a strong feud as a champion because she was just playing second fiddle to Gale right now. And there were no real options for compelling feuds for her with the current knockout roster, so they had to bring in somebody. They had to bring in kind of a game changer. It looked and they booked Allison Kay like a game changer in that segment. I really enjoyed their fight, and I'm looking forward to their eventual match. I thought she did great in her debut. Um, that said, I'm not eager to see them matching her up with Gale because I think we all know what'll happen when that occurs. Probably just sacrifice her to Gale, Jane, Cena, Kim again because that seems to be what always happens. 99% of the time, at least. Let the Hive Rosemary shipping begin. Oh, why not? I get that, but it would just end the show before the actual end. Yeah, if they drop the nuke. Yeah. Would you make sweet love to Courtney Rush in the Rosemary gimmick? Oh, don't think I wouldn't. Don't think I wouldn't, dude. She is no, she makes that face paint work. I'm sorry. I've been meaning to ask you, what did you think of the Doctor Strange trailer? Okay, I think I talked about this a few weeks ago. I liked it. I think the imagery was very Inception-esque in a lot of ways, which I mean that in a good way because I love Inception. I think it looks different from all the other Marvel movies, which is also a good thing. Maybe kind of Iron Man-ish in a few ways. The guy who's on top of the world as a surgeon who endures a traumatic experience and he becomes discovers his true calling as something else. This is kind of the same as basic formula as Iron Man, but I thought it was cool. Benedict Cumberbatch was my first choice as Doctor Strange. I think he looks perfect. Not crazy about what they did with the Ancient One. Race bending, gender bending into the whitest white woman on Earth when it's supposed to be an Asian man. I don't really understand that. Maybe they were trying to avoid some stereotypes, but they probably could have done it, and I don't think a lot of people would have complained. But otherwise, I think it looks cool. I'm eager to see them explore magic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now they haven't done that yet, so I'm really encouraged. I'm looking forward to a longer trailer from that. Kimberly and Kaylee Ray. Oh yeah, they could throw those two in there too. But yeah. Sienna should talk more, unlike what they did with Havoc. Agreed. I think with Havoc, they were trying to do an Awesome Kong 2.0 type of thing. With Sienna, they would be stupid not to let her talk. Because her mic skills are pretty great. I would say her mic skills are arguably better than Maria's. And that's why I worry a little bit that she looks like she's going to be Maria's muscle, so she might not get to talk all that much. Probably going to let Maria do the talking for her, which would be dumb. Because, Allison Kay can cut a fucking promo. She's, she has no problems in that area, so they should absolutely let her talk as much as she wants. Did you read the Twitter beef between Jade and Shelton Benjamin? No, I didn't. Honestly, I haven't really been on Twitter so much since I got sick. Um, Before I got sick, I would try to read everything in my timeline just out of because maybe I'm a little OCD that way. Because when I got sick, I kind of just fell off the map and tried to go off the grid for a little bit. So I cut off I stopped looking at all my social media because when I'm on social media, I just feel the need to look at everything. Maybe I'm a little obsessive that way, but I just cut myself off cold turkey. Haven't really gotten back into it yet, so I've been kind of I haven't been looking at my timeline as much as I usually do. I just kind of pop in and out on Twitter when I want to say something. But I'll get back into it soon, I think. But I haven't really been looking at it that much, so I'm probably missing a few things. But no, I haven't seen anything between Jade and Shelton. I think we finally see what Maria's so-called vision is. She's trying to use her power as Knockout's authority figure to scheme her way into becoming champion without having to wrestle for it. Potentially. I'd like to see her decide that she doesn't need to be the champion as long as she can control the champion because that's better. And yeah, I would not want to see Maria as the Knockouts champion. I think they're doing well with her now. I think what they're doing with her is perfect in that she's the thorn in Gail Kim's side, and she's like the heel controlling all the knockout division, but she doesn't wrestle. So they're accentuating her strengths and hiding her weaknesses right now because she's a great character. She's a great talker, not a great wrestler. So put her in a character role and don't have her wrestle, except maybe once in a while. And so far they're doing it perfectly, I think. And let's keep it that way. There's no reason to put the title on her. No reason. Civil War was great in every way, but Hawkeye was pointless as usual. I wouldn't say Hawkeye was pointless. He's played a role in the other movies. Whoa, shit. Who's your favorite actor or actress? Huh. I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, there are actors that I enjoy. Charlize Theron is always great. Who the hell else? Jennifer Lawrence is awesome in everything. I guess if I had to pick a favorite actress, I think Jennifer Lawrence. Favorite actor? God, I don't know. I don't know if I could pick a favorite actor. As for Courtney Rush, I think she's officially inherited the zombie hot title from Daphne. Oh, I think she inherited that a while ago. Maybe not officially, but she might as well have. Yeah. Thoughts on Abyss's face paint and Steve talking? I like the Abyss face paint. I thought that backstage segment was almost a little too creepy for me, especially when Rosemary spit the mist into Steve's mouth. I kind of cringed at that part. I like the face paint though. I think it helps make Abyss fit with the other two from a visual standpoint. I think it's a step in the right direction for him. I think it's another re-gimmicking for Abyss, but I think it makes sense. I think they look like it. The three of them look more like a unit now, and that's helpful. Crazy Steve talking, I'm not a fan of. I think he was a more interesting character when he didn't talk, because he was more unique in that way. So I'd like to see them limit his talking to very simple things, very small and short promos. Because I think I like him better when he doesn't talk. They explained that the magic here is actually kind of quantum mechanics and fringe science, which actually isn't that outlandish. For example, multiple universes are predicted in several quantum mechanical theories, many of which have dramatically different physical laws or energy densities. Okay. Nuclear transmutation is the official term because I guess some nerd thought alchemy was too old school. Believe it or not, alchemy is also somewhat possible with modern physics, but not very easy. All right. Sounds almost like how the magic in Full Metal Alchemist is actually rooted in science. Okay. Just type in their Twiddle handles together and check it out. Okay. Maybe I'll look at that later. Doctor Strange versus Damien Dark. Who would win? I think probably Doctor Strange. Damien Dark has magic, but Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme. He could probably just banish him to some hell dimension or something. I'm pretty sure the Twitter beef between Jade and Sheldon Benjamin is as endless, back and forth trolling, and they're actually good friends. Okay. Beef may be the wrong word, but it's still funny. Shelton is in a tweet said that Jade's victory was a gift from victory to a gif of Gollum. Yeah, it kind of sounds like they're just trolling each other and they're actually friends. I don't know. I prefer Daphne over Rosemary. Really? I think there are a lot of similarities between them. You know, similar looks, both great on the mic, both got a ton of charisma. They are a lot alike. I can see that. Gotcha, Costa, but that was more of a she's next to carry the torch thing than a judgment on which of the two is better. Okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Daphne, too. And so I like both of them, really. You know what? I'll wait just another minute because we're at the end of the bottom of the chat room. Let's give it another second to see if anything else shows up. Ugh. Have you seen the E&C show? No, I haven't seen it. I love Edge and Christian, but that it just looks kind of filler-ish. It gets better since the first episode. Yeah, okay. With those two, I'm sure it's entertaining. It's just, I don't know if it's my kind of thing. Okay. All right, you know, I think that's a good place to end it. We're about at midnight right now. So I think that's a good stopping point. You know what? Some people are probably, well, I'd be getting out of Civil War about now if I'd gone tonight. I think Lashley might be the best thing at TNA right now, probably next to how Courtney's leading Decay. I think Lashley's doing really well right now. Do you see that fucking spear over the, up the stairs on Jeff into the ring post in that match on Tuesday? Holy shit. That was something else. But I'll talk about that more on Saturday. But yeah, he's doing really well. And that's a good stopping point. I think we're going to end it there for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I think the Impact review will be I'll be done on Saturday. Back on Saturday this week. And I guess we could talk about Civil War then, or we can wait until Thursday to talk about it. But yeah, I'll have seen Civil War by then, so hopefully we all will, so spoilers won't be an issue. So I will talk to you guys on Saturday. All right, take care, and I will see you in a few days. Later.